Fort Benning, one of the largest military bases in the United States, is usually remembered for its strict discipline, intense training programs, and thousands of soldiers moving in perfect routine every single day. But in the early 1970s, something happened there, something so strange, so unexplained, that even decades later, it remains one of the most mysterious events in modern military history. What makes this incident truly fascinating is that the people who reported it weren't random civilians or conspiracy theorists. They were trained soldiers, pilots, engineers, and technicians, men who knew exactly what they were looking at and what they weren't. Let's go back to that night. A strange light appears. It was an ordinary evening at Fort Benning. The weather was calm, the sky crystal clear, and the soldiers were slowly returning to their quarters after a long day of training. Across the base, everything was normal, until a guard noticed a strange bluish light on the horizon. At first, he dismissed it as a helicopter or maybe a flare from a training exercise, but within seconds, he realized something was off. The light wasn't moving like any aircraft he knew. It shifted left, then right, then stopped completely. And the most unsettling part? It did all of this without making a single sound. A silent aircraft in a military base, this alone was unusual enough. Soon, more soldiers spotted it and pointed at the sky, confusion written all over their faces. Then the light began to move closer. Radios fail, electronics shut down. As the light approached, something even stranger happened. The radios across one section of the base suddenly began cutting out. Static, broken sentences, complete silence. Central, do you copy? Repeat that. Repeat. Nothing. Communication devices started failing one by one. Even basic electronic tools shut down as if someone had flipped a switch. One soldier later described it like this: "My radio died. My watch stopped. I felt this weird humming in my chest. Even the wind felt like it stopped. Whatever that light was, it wasn't just shining, it was interfering. A shadow beneath the light." When the object came even closer, soldiers could finally see that it wasn't just a ball of light. Beneath the glow was a dark, shifting shape. Some described it as metallic. Some said it looked like energy or mist. Its edges weren't solid, they seemed to ripple, like heat waves above asphalt. One soldier said, "We were looking at something, but none of us knew what it was. It didn't look like a machine. It didn't look like anything." The light shot upward, then instantly dropped again, movements impossible for helicopters, jets, or drones of that era. The silence bubble. Then it happened. As the light descended toward the ground, the entire area around the soldiers fell into absolute silence. No wind, no insects, no distant engines, nothing. One soldier said, "It wasn't like my ears were blocked. It was like the whole world muted itself." Scientists say this kind of complete silence can't naturally occur in an open outdoor environment. Something was affecting the environment itself. Physical effects on soldiers. As the light hovered closer to the ground, several soldiers reported dizziness, nausea, shaking, temporary disorientation, blurred vision. A few experienced brief memory gaps. Others said they felt like they were being watched or pulled toward the light. Some researchers believe this could have been caused by electromagnetic radiation, but others say the symptoms don't fully match. The shadows. Multiple soldiers later described seeing fast-moving shadows darting around the light, human-sized, but not solid, like silhouettes made of smoke. Were they hallucinations? Light distortions? Or something else entirely? No one knows. But several men, interviewed years apart in different states, described the same thing. Base lockdown. Within minutes, commanders sealed off the area. Troops were ordered into specific zones. Officers began taking reports. High-ranking officials arrived on site. And then something very suspicious happened. When researchers tried to look into the incident years later, almost all of the reports were missing. Radio logs vanished, documents were erased, and even radar records for that night were unavailable. People on the base were told the event was a classified test, but none of the soldiers believed it. Soldiers told to forget. Days later, the men involved were gathered and warned. "You witnessed a classified exercise. Do not discuss this again." Many kept quiet. But after retiring years later, Some finally spoke up, and their stories matched. Memories resurface years later. Decades passed, and some veterans underwent regression therapy or hypnosis, attempting to recover lost fragments of memory. One recurring detail shocked investigators. Many soldiers claimed that just before the light disappeared, time felt like it slowed down. Not in a dramatic Hollywood way, but subtly, unnaturally. What phenomenon could cause that? Nobody has an answer. What was it? Theories. A secret military prototype. Possible, but experts say the US had no such technology in the 1,970 seconds. A rare atmospheric event. But this doesn't explain intelligent movement, silence, and electronic interference. A non-human intelligence pocket. This is the theory most believers point to. The behavior of the light, the silence, the shadows, the effects on electronics does not match any known technology on Earth at that time. The light disappears. After several minutes, the hovering object suddenly shot upward. No sound. No trail. Just a silent blur gone in a fraction of a second. And almost immediately after it vanished, radios came back online. Engines hummed again. Wind returned. Noise returned. Everything went back to normal. It was as if someone had flipped reality back on. No evidence left behind. Investigators combed the area. No burn marks. No debris. No dents in the ground. No trace of a landing. It was as if the object never touched the Earth at all. Only the witnesses remained. And their stories still match today. Conclusion. The elusive Fort Benning incident remains one of the most puzzling, unsolved military encounters in American history. Soldiers from different backgrounds, ranks, and specialties all describe the same thing, an object that behaved unlike anything human technology could produce at the time. Was it a warning? A test? An observation? Or something far beyond human understanding? We may never know. But one thing is certain. On that night at Fort Benning, something unknown, something intelligent came very close.